Nehemiah. We bring you greetings from the Lord just this quiet. If you hear a song that's familiar, I want you to join in and help us sing. How many of you have something to give God the glory for? I know I do. As a matter of fact, when you woke me up this morning, that's a thank you, Jesus, moment. So we're going to start out by singing, "Oh, give thanks unto the Lord." Oh, give thanks unto the Lord, for He is good. Oh, give thanks unto the Lord, for He is good. For He is good. For He is worthy is to love God. Now we want you to join us in a song. Sometimes we have highs and sometimes we have lows, but regardless of all of it, we just want God just to help us. God will help you. He will help me. He will help us to hold that. Help me to hold that. Just help me to hold that, Lord. Help me to hold that. I'm just about to make it over, Lord. Help me to hold that. Just help me to hold that until my change is gone. One more time, Lord, help me to hold that. Lord, help me to hold that. I'm just about to make it over. Help me to hold that. Just help me to hold that. Just help me to hold that until my change is gone. Oh, my way may not be easy. You didn't say that it would be, but when it's dark, I can't see my way home. You told me to not trust me. That's why we're singing now. Oh, help me to hold that. Just help me to hold that love. I'm just about to make it over, Lord. Help me. Just help me to hold that until my change has
What do we want? More justice. When do we want it? Now. I'm Rabbi Jonathan Case, a member of the Board of Justice Second Board.
I'm Reverend Alan Fowler Skidmore, pastor of Forest Lake Presbyterian Church.
I am Omar Shehi of Massachusetts, Atlanta. Who would have thought, if possible, that from this time last year, we could find ourselves today in a world where there is more violence, more division, more hunger, more poverty, more hate.
The three of us have forged a friendship of mutual respect and love through our recordings of our podcast, Abraham's Table. Our Abraham's Table podcast now has 37 episodes available for listening wherever you get your podcasts. Through our discussions, we've learned that we do not always agree with each other, but we have also learned that while we may differ, we do agree on the essentials
that each of our faith traditions, Jewish, Christian, and Muslim, have been twisted to support hate and violence, and that we want to stand against those distortions of the faith we each hold so dear.
The three of us agree that all human beings are created by and loved by God. Muslims say that human beings exhibit the attributes of God. Christians and Jews say that human beings are made in the image of God. The meaning is the same.
The three of us agree that God desires that all God's children seek both mercy and justice.
The three of us agree that God is displeased when he sees the human family fighting and excluding and hating each other.
And the three of us agree that we best reflect God's will when we learn to love, respect, and protect each other. Tonight, we stand in humility and in faith to ask each of us to examine our own hearts for the roots of hatred and division.
As individuals, we can do very little to stop the war between Israel and Hamas, stop Russia's attacks on Ukraine, or address the civil war in Sudan, or the chaos in Haiti. But each of us is responsible for what comes out of our mouths or keyboards. Each of us is responsible to love God and all that God has created. We can change how we treat each other. We can stand in love and seek the good of the nation of which we are a part. Every one of us can work to protect the vulnerable, to feed the hungry, to comfort the grieving, to house the homeless. And we are each responsible to examine our own hearts and minds for the attitudes and roots of hatred and violence. Each of us is responsible to speak in love and to work for reconciliation and to build our sacred community.
God does not cause all this suffering. People do. Every time we choose hate over love, suspicion over compassion, and isolation over community, Abraham's table and more justice are working to dismantle the barriers that separate us and to call each of us to care for each other. If we are the cause of God's displeasure, we can equally be the people who make the Holy One pleased.
All of God's children can and must work for a reduction in violence and hatred. We must work together for safe and affordable housing.
We must work together to ensure that all God's children have access to healthy food. Three of us stand together tonight to call on everyone here to work on their own hearts so that all God's children will know hope, love, life, and joy.
The three of us agree. God's command to pursue both mercy and justice belongs to each of us and begins with every one of us.
Let us stand as one together.
Let us begin now.
Let us pray. O God, eternal love and creator of every good and perfect gift, look with favor upon this gathering. Use every one of us to serve your purpose. Through us, put the salve of mercy on the wounds of the world. Through us, bring waves of justice to straighten the crooked. O Lord, guide, bless, and use us, even us. And all God's people said, Amen.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Reverend Jackie Utley, and I am the pastor of Ascension Lutheran Church, located right here in the Eau Claire community, just a couple of blocks from here. And I am co-president of More Justice.
And I'm Morgan Lee, a team leader at Trinity Episcopal Cathedral and the other co-president. One of the foundational scriptures of our work as More Justice is Micah 6:8. What does the Lord require of you but to do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God? We're here tonight to fulfill that first call, to do justice. We're here tonight because our mercy is only helpful if we're also doing the work of justice. Because for every mouth we feed, those same neighbors will come again the next day. For every home we build, there are hundreds of families that don't know where they're going to sleep that night. For every comfort we provide to the families affected by gun violence, there are so many wondering when they are next. So we're here tonight to take a big step toward letting justice roll in the Midlands.
Oh yes. It feels good to look around this room and see all of us gathered together for our 7th annual Nehemiah Action. And it is named after the prophet who taught us how to live out our call to do justice. When the prophet Nehemiah returned home, he heard cries of injustice. Predatory moneylenders were stealing food, homes, land, and even selling children into slavery, all to pay off fake debts that they had created. Nehemiah knew that he was called here to do justice, to hold those in power accountable. However, he alone did not have the power to change their minds. So he organized a great assembly, such as this one, and called on everyone in the community to come and speak with one voice, asking the moneylenders to make things right. And when faced with the incredible power of the people, the moneylenders could not refuse. So tonight, we follow Nehemiah's example by bringing hundreds of us, the members of the Midlands, together to fight injustices that we see here in the city of Columbia. And we invite our public officials before our combined people power.
So often, decisions that impact all of us, especially those of us that are affected most, are made by only a few people behind closed doors. Tonight, we open these conversations to the public to allow everyone to have a seat at the table. Look around. This is democracy in action. Hundreds of our people gathered from across the Columbia area are here tonight. We've worked together over the last year to get to this moment. We held nearly 60 house meetings. We had over 500 people gathered to share stories about how they were impacted by community problems. Since then, many people in this room have been involved in our research process. In your package, you will see a summary of our campaigns, and these brief summaries reflect the hours and hours of preparation that we have spent for this evening. And our work will continue after tonight. So let's take a moment to recognize everyone who's made tonight happen. Please stand and remain standing if you've been a part of our research committees. Will our team leaders please join them in standing? Our clergy, if you would stand, please. Our network members, the rest of the network members, if you would stand. Let's give them a round of applause. And while we're applauding, give yourself a round of applause for just being here tonight. Because it's your role and our role in pushing for a more just Columbia.
We also would like to take a moment to recognize the community partners that have helped our research committees: the National Alliance of Mental Illness, Community-Based Public Safety Collective, Moms Demand Action, Columbia's Food Policy Committee, Tom's Creek Family Farms, and all of our helpful mobile markets across the country, Midlands Housing, and South Carolina Appleseed. This is not an exhaustive list, so thank you to everyone who has helped us along the way. And finally, let's appreciate the public officials who are here tonight. There's a full list in your packet of who was invited, but whether we are asking you to make commitments on stage tonight or not, we celebrate you for prioritizing this time to address serious community problems with your constituents. Officials, please stand as your name is called. Following people are here with us tonight that I see. I believe I have Deputy Chef Kelvin Rose here from Richland County. Chef. County Councilman Paul Livingston from Richland County Council will be joining us later. But I have Councilmember Tyler Bailey here from Columbia City Council. Councilmember Tina Herbert from Columbia City Council. And Councilmember Will Brennan from Columbia City Council. If I get this wrong, please forgive me. There's Jeff Black, official Jeff Black from the Richland Coroner's Office. Okay, so we've given them a round of applause, okay. Now, if you are a public official who has joined us this evening and your name has not been called, please sign in at our public officials check-in. There's a table out front in the lobby, and then we will recognize you at the end of our program. We don't want anyone to be slighted here this evening.
Now, in a few moments, we're going to ask those officials who are present for commitments to addressing our community's problems. At council meetings and other official meetings, officials must vote yes or no on important decisions. So we ask for officials to first respond with a yes or a no. Then they have the opportunity to explain their answer. Also, following the example of council meetings and public meetings, where there are time limits for public comments, we ask everyone on stage to keep comments concise. We'll have a timekeeper, and that person is going to let everybody know we can move on after 1 minute's passed. So negotiators and officials should keep an eye out for those signs. And to make sure that everyone is prepared to have this conversation in public, we want you to know that we provided our questions in writing to our officials and met with them to cover the information in advance.
If an official says no, we begin what we call negotiation. This means that we ask questions to ensure that everyone fully understands what we are asking for and the reality of the issue that will continue if we leave tonight without next steps to address the problem. Our goal is to leave with a yes. We cannot accept a no without speaking for the thousands of our neighbors who go hungry every night, without thinking about those of us who don't have a safe place to live, without remembering those who have lost their lives to acts of gun violence. We cannot stand by another second while our siblings suffer in a place we are supposed to make more like the city of God. I'm not preaching now, sounds like, so we will negotiate on behalf because something needs to be done.
Now, even if you're not on stage, every person in this room matters during the negotiation. There's one of our volunteers who's going to be holding a sign to indicate when to applaud. See, we ask everyone to pay attention and only cheer and celebrate when we've gotten a clear yes. Otherwise, we remain silent together. See, there's power in our silence. Silence creates tension. And tension shows us the disconnect in this between the world as it is and the world as it should be. It's uncomfortable, but that tension is necessary for the enormous job we're taking on. Any tension we experience tonight is nothing compared to the tension that families feel when they're evicted, when a parent loses a child to gun violence, or when someone doesn't know where their next meal is coming from. Will you all, and we're expecting we will you all stand in solidarity with our speakers tonight? If so, say we will.
We will. I hope you feel with me the significance of this opportunity to be a part of making sweeping change. Because of us. I want you to say this with me. Because of us. Because of us. All of you here tonight. And our officials who have responded to the people, hundreds of Midland officers have received training on how to de-escalate mental health crises. That deserves an applause. And our law enforcement went above and beyond our acts to create a mental health response teams. That
Because of our people power, students are being given a chance in our schools instead of being caught in a cycle of discipline. With just our voices coming together as one, our schools heard the cries of the people.
Because of the collective efforts of this community, Richland County Council doubled the amount of funding for affordable housing to $4 million.
Because of those who answered the call to do justice, the city prioritized addressing gun violence by creating a dedicated office of violent crime prevention.
And so because of all of us, food insecurity is highlighted more than it has ever been, and our city has answered with 3 brand new programs that address multiple parts of the problem. Tonight, we continue this work. Together, let's give voice to the call to be a more just community. Let's amplify the voices that have been crying out for change for too long. Let's show what committed people of faith can do together with the help of God to bring about more justice in the Midlands.
What do we want? More justice. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? More justice. When do we want it? Now. Right.
Good evening. Good evening. I am Reverend Judith Myers, pastor with the Emmanuel Baptist Fellowship and an executive board member.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I am Dr. Bernice Moore Green, a team leader at Republic Baptist Church. Many people in this room will remember our first Nehemiah action in 2018, where we focused on mental health. That year, through our community stories and research meetings, we learned that many police officers did not have the skills to deal with someone in a mental health crisis. We identified crisis intervention training, or CIT, as a solution that has worked in communities across the country. CIT involves knowing how to identify and de-escalate a mental health crisis and knowing where to bring someone for help.
So when we took on this issue and pushed for crisis intervention training, the National Alliance on Mental Health Illness, or NAMI, had been pushing for over 7 years for Columbia area officers to be certified in this 40-hour crisis intervention training. As a result, the Columbia Police Department had 8 officers trained.
That year, we built our people power for the Nehemiah action in 2018, where we had over 1,300 community members present to ask for meaningful change. We asked both Columbia City Police Chief Skip Holbrook and Richland County Sheriff Leon Lott if they would certify all of their officials in crisis intervention training within 3 years. And they said yes. That deserves applause. Let's take a look at recent local news coverage on how far our community has come since 2018.
It's a lot of uniforms. It can sometimes worsen the incident or worsen their behavior.
PrisonPolicy.org data reveals roughly 43% of people in state prisons have been diagnosed with a mental disorder. At local jails, it's 44%. Reverend Diana Diedrich, who works closely with the social action group More Justice, sees firsthand what is contributing to those numbers.
And one day, one of the gentlemen came in who was a regular, and I knew he had mental health issues, and I knew he wasn't on his medication, and he was just off the chains, and he was threatening other folks there. We had about 50 other clients. He was threatening himself. He was threatening me. So I knew we needed to call for assistance. So when the police department sent their officer, I said, "Are you certified in CIT?"
CIT. It stands for Crisis Intervention Training. Reverend Diedrich believes that program, which was started by the National Alliance on Mental Illness, provides critical training that's needed in order to de-escalate a situation when officers respond to a call where it's believed mental illness is a factor. It's a program Richland County Sheriff's Department and the Columbia Police Department agreed to adopt back in 2018.
Will you ensure that all your officers become certified in crisis intervention training by April of 2020? The question was 2021. Yes.
But because of COVID, both agencies are still working to fully train all the officers.
You know, there's police have faced a lot of criticism on how we handle critical incidents in the past, maybe how we take more of an aggressive approach. And, you know, it all came down to really training and understanding better what we were dealing with.
CIT training is free for officers in Richland County. It requires 40 hours of training and lasts for a week. When they began the initiative, roughly 58 officers from both departments were trained. But recent data reveals close to 500 officers are now trained between the two agencies.
So in January, we contacted both Sheriff Lott and Chief Holbrook asking for an update on the number of officers fully trained in this 40-hour CIT training since the inception of the program, as well as plans for upcoming training sessions. So since 2018, the Columbia Police Department has certified 230 end, the Richland County Sheriff's Department has certified 162 additional officers.
We celebrate the progress that has been made toward certifying all officers in Richland County and Columbia in CIT. And it is urgent that progress continues. Applause. Because of us, because we build and used our people power, Columbia is a safer place for all.
Good evening again. Reverend Jackie Utley here again, and I serve on the More Justice Gun Violence Steering Committee.
My name is Reverend K.W.A. Grady, pastor of Reed Chapel Adventist Methodist Episcopal Church, a founding member of More Justice, and also serve on the Gun Violence Steering Committee. Clergy are called upon to preside over funerals, a duty that we bear far too often. We witness firsthand the devastation that gun violence and trauma wreaks on families and communities. We offer solace, support, and prayers to those mourning their loved ones, but they are still left grappling with the profound question: why did this happen? When will this end? And will this happen again? Each funeral service is a reminder that we are failing as a society to protect the sanctity and purity of life. We cannot continue to turn a blind eye and be silent to the urgency of addressing gun violence. It is a public health epidemic that demands our...
Among these are 3 Eau Claire students, Jacoby Fannin, Drayvon Riley, and Caleb Wise. 3 young people who were students right here at Eau Claire High School. Each name, each person represents a unique story cut short, dreams unfulfilled, and potential extinguished. As we honor their memories, let us observe a moment of silence to honor their lives and to recommit ourselves to the urgent task of building a world where the epidemic of gun violence becomes a distant memory. Today, we find ourselves standing at a crossroads where the path ahead demands our commitment to change or our commitment to the world as it is. For me, there is no choice here. Over the years, we have heard stories of bullets piercing someone's mattress while they were sleeping. High schoolers' football practice being interrupted because they had to duck down to avoid gunshots. And someone being held at gunpoint outside of their own home.
In the fall of 2019, our 25 congregations at that time overwhelmingly voted to prioritize gun violence for research and action, and inspired by the death of 5-year-old Knowledge Sims. One would have thought that during the height of the pandemic, gun violence would have decreased. But as we came out of the initial phases of the pandemic in 2020, we saw gun violence skyrocket. Based on our research with the National Network for Safer Communities, In 2021, we pushed for the allocation, the Chief of Police and the City Council to allocate funds towards GVI, Group Violence Intervention, which is a proven solution to gun violence, which begins with a detailed problem analysis. Although our city leadership did not attend the Nehemiah action then, we continue to push for solutions to address gun violence in our community. A year later, in 2022, at the Nehemiah action, we asked newly elected Mayor Rickerman for the first step towards GVI, gun violence intervention, and other proven strategies to conduct a comprehensive problem analysis with outside experts. The intention or the purpose of the analysis is to give a deep understanding of gun violence so that the city knows best how to use its resources to get to the root cause of the problem and address it effectively. We pressed for this analysis for 3 years and have not been successful. Last year, while Mayor Rickerman did attend the Nehemiah action, he did not allocate $50,000 for the problem analysis conducted by the National Network for Safer Communities. However, he did need the council to approve $800,000+ for the establishment of the Office of Violent Crime Prevention.
We learned just last month that the City of Columbia has undertaken an assessment through the newly established Office of Violent Crime Prevention. This assessment was conducted by an organization called the Community Justice Action Fund, who assessed the 100 cities with the highest gun violence rates across the United States, and Columbia was one of them. We have not yet seen the results of this assessment specific to Columbia, and we are hopeful that this is a strong assessment, similar to the one that we requested. At the same time, we will remain vigilant of the results, and if there is more data, community dynamics, or recommendations that are missing. Either way, this assessment is a crucial step forward in our commitment to creating a safer, more secure community for us all. It is most important to us that the city and the Office of Violent Crime Prevention have the information and these resources that they need to be most effective and reduce gun violence to zero.
We eagerly await, yes, let's give it a round of applause. We eagerly await the findings of the assessment. We do recognize the dedication of all those involved in this endeavor. We applaud our city officials, we applaud law enforcement, and the experts working to unravel the complexities of the challenges we face. This assessment is not merely a report. It has the potential to be a beacon guiding us towards a future where the roots of gun violence are unearthed so that they can be dismantled. Our mission expands beyond the anticipation of the results, though. It is an opportunity for collaboration and unity within our community. We extend an open invitation to all community organizations, advocates, and individuals who share our vision of a violence-free future. Together, we can forge partnerships that transcend boundaries of race, class, and gender, pooling our collective resources and expertise to implement strategies that will reduce gun violence to the core.
In the summer of 2023, More Justice members attended a community meet and greet for Mr. Trevon Fordham, the director of the Office of Violent Crime Prevention. Following the meet and greet, we met with Mr. Fordham to introduce him to More Justice and our gun violence campaign that we have been dedicated to since 2019. And since that meeting, our organizer has been in communication with Mr. Fordham, and we have supported many community programs that he has conducted. Over the past few months, Mr. Fordham emphasized to More Justice the value that he sees in community collaboration to solve the issue of gun violence. Mr. Fordham confirmed that he would be present tonight. But texted our organizer a little earlier today that his travel plans had changed yesterday evening, so he would not be able to make it. While we are so very disappointed that Mr. Fordham is not able to be here with us tonight, we have begun the process of scheduling a meeting with him next week, where we can get clarification on his responses to the questions that we had planned to ask him here tonight.
More Justice plans to host a gun violence summit in June of this year. The summit aims to bring together experts, advocates, and policymakers to discuss evidence-based strategies and solutions to reduce gun violence and promote public safety. The questions that we were going to ask tonight were: one, will you co-host a gun violence prevention summit with More Justice in June of this year? Our second question would have been, once the Community Justice Action Fund's assessment is released, will you submit the report in its entirety to the public? More Justice is excited about the Gun Violence Summit, and we will go forward with or without the help of the persons that we've been asking. We need this Gun Violence Summit.
Yes. 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 You see, the strength of our community lies in collaboration, in the power of shared purpose, and in our collective resilience. By joining forces, we can amplify our impact, working hand in hand to address the systemic issues that contribute to gun violence. This is not a solitary endeavor. It is a communal effort that requires the active involvement of each and every one of us. It cannot be done alone.
The South Carolina State Assembly just passed permitless carry. This is really a result of many people across the state feeling that law enforcement and the community at large is powerless to address and prevent gun violence. Martin Luther King said, we must learn to live together as brothers and sisters or die together as fools. Let us seize this moment as an opportunity to build bridges, tear down walls, and foster a sense of unity that transcends differences. Our commitment to a safer community knows no boundaries, and through collaboration, we can turn the tide against gun violence. Together, let us all create a legacy of safety, resilience, and hope for generations to come. We will not rest. No more gun deaths. We will not rest. No more gun deaths.
One more time.
We will not rest. No more gun deaths. One more time. We will not rest. No more gun deaths.
Include. We gotta include. Good evening. My name is Trisha Morris, and I'm a team leader at Trinity Episcopal Cathedral, and I serve on the Food Justice Steering Committee. I'm up here with my fellow steering committee members, Sharon Williams, Reverend Eric Fee, Rowena Nyland, Dr. Tammy Ashford-Gerald, and Reverend Diana Diedrich. Last year, our members almost unanimously voted to work on food insecurity, and we quickly found out why. 65,000 people in Richland County alone don't know where their next meal is coming from. We would need 4 Colonial Life arenas to be able to fit all of those people. These are our people who are dealing with this problem, our community. If you see a strip of blue tape on the back, on the seat in front of you, please stand up. Please look around. You all represent the 1 in 7 people who will ask the question, how How am I going to eat tonight? You may be seated. Thank you. Over the last few years, our worst off neighbors in the 29203 and 29204 zip codes lost grocery stores and currently have only 4 stores to feed over 60,000 people. For context, 29223 has 10,000 fewer people to feed and has 12 grocery stores, 3 times more. Because of this, 29203 has one of the highest rates in the nation for diabetic amputees. Let me say that another way. Our city is one of the most medically dangerous places to live because of our food system.
We have done our part individually in trying to address the overwhelming problem of food insecurity in Columbia. Our members from 25 congregations spend more than 300 hours each week volunteering in over 30 different food-specific programs, such as Harvest Hope, Senior Resources Meals on Wheels, the weekend food programs for students in our schools. If you're here and have worked in any of these food programs, would you please stand or raise your hand? Thank you so much. That's a lot of hands, a lot of people, and a lot of work. And we have been putting in this work in these food programs for decades. Tonight we have 2 representatives from one of the food programs here tonight. The Fresh Start program at St. Luke's Episcopal Church, which is located in zip code 29204. Let's listen to the stories now from Paul Yarborough and Valerie Riley.
Giving honor to God, Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, I am coming forward to you from St. Luke Episcopal Church. I'm retired, and I'm still struggling to survive out here in this world. The clothes that you see that I have on, I haven't bought any clothes in a while. I get my clothes from Fresh Start. Social Security is not enough. Social Security only pays a bill here and there, but it does not enough to get food. It does not have enough to do anything really. We need help. We need food. We need rental assistance. We're not getting that. And therefore that we're out here in the streets walking every day trying to find food, trying to find money, and trying to get help and assistance. So with that being said, I'm asking each and every one of you to help us. Social Security is not enough. It's not enough. You want us to eat healthy, but how can we eat healthy when each and every year we get a little raise, you take it back in food stamps? We walk around with $25 or $20 left in food stamps. It's not enough for us to eat healthy. I have bought 1 loaf of bread and sandwich meat many times. I've also had to eat sandwiches from out the garbage can. I've been there. You know what it's like. So I'm asking for your help. Please give us help. We need it. We're struggling every day to make it. God be with you and take care.
Good evening. My name is Valerie Riley, the director of St. Luke's Episcopal Church First Start Ministry. St. Luke is located on Pine Street in the Wakefield community. Our food pantry is open every Thursday from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. We have been fighting food insecurity in Richland County since 2016. Our goal is to provide healthy foods to citizens suffering from low food access. We at First Start have always put emphasis on fresh fruits and vegetables weekly for our clients. We service about 60 to 80 people per week. Some weeks we run out of fresh fruits and vegetables due to the high client volume. We can only provide enough fresh fruits and vegetables for a day or two, depending on the family sizes. The citizens of 29204 community live in a food desert. There is only one grocery store in the community where they can purchase affordable, fresh fruits and vegetables. Several stores have closed down in the area. The Save-A-Lot, Piggly Wiggly provide the citizens with fresh fruits and vegetables. Those closings have increased the need for healthy foods, accessing 29204. Since the closing of those grocery stores, getting healthy food requires citizens to travel to other areas. Sometimes this is an additional burden on that person. Many of the citizens are disabled, homeless, senior citizens, elderly, or have large families and no transportation and no money. If they walk, it isn't easy to get to the grocery stores. So many of the citizens have no choice but to shop at the convenience stores in their community. The convenience stores are Family Dollar, Dollar General, and the gas stations. These stores do not sell fresh fruits or vegetables. Instead, their foods are affordable, yes, but they're high in concentrated sugars and fats. Eating these food items only can eventually cause harm to them, like hypertension, diabetes, heart diseases, and even stroke. Everyone should assume proper service of fresh fruits and vegetables to help provide them with a healthier food option. Please help the citizens in 29204 receive healthy food options that would help them live healthier lives and promote good health. Thank you.
Thank you, Valerie and Paul, for sharing what's on your hearts and being here tonight. Let's give them another round of applause. In 2017, the City of Columbia asked a group to volunteer and come up with recommendations for the city to implement, and that became the Food Policy Committee. And finally, last year, the city introduced 3 brand new food security programs. First, a program to help assist with grocery delivery fees for our neighbors without the ability to get to a store. A plan to incentivize new stores to come into the neighborhoods that need them most. And finally, the mobile market to bring food into neighborhoods now. Let's We want to take a moment to celebrate the Food Policy Committee, the Community Development Committee's council members, Tina Herbert, Will Brennan, Howard Duvall, who served in that capacity, and Mayor Daniel Rickerman for leading the charge on those life-changing programs. So let's show our appreciation. And to the rest of the council, city staff, and Tom's Creek Family Farms for their work in making this happen. Let's applaud them as well. God's people showing up at the Nehemiah action makes a difference. We have seen food insecurity prioritized, some ways like never before. And we hope these programs work together to address the issue from the many multiple sides that are needed. But this is just a first step. We have 65,000 people to feed. And more justice, Collins Creek Foods, the Food Policy Committee, the city officials, we agree that the job is not done. So the next 2 steps that we want to ask the city to take are, number 1, securing funding for food insecurity into the future. This could be used for the current mobile market, for future mobile markets, or new food insecurity solutions. As the city already spends about $10,000 a month on the mobile market project, we would like to see a continuation of this funding and an expansion on it to see more accessibility and more programs developed. With 65,000 people experiencing food insecurity, funding $20,000 per month would only be a cost of $3.70 per person per year. Number two, I'd like to ask to increase the number of locations the mobile market serves, so we can ensure as many people as possible get access to this important resource.
The current contract for the existing mobile market is for only 18 months, and there's just 10 months left. Soon, the city expects this program to be self-sufficient and run without city funding. Our research has shown that this is not setting the market up for success. First, these programs need at least 3 years to find the right schedule and locations, establish themselves in the community as a reliable and trustworthy program, and build a returning customer base. A mobile market in DC doubled their sales every year for the first 3 years simply by coming back. And secondly, these programs need outside financial support to keep their prices low enough to feed those who need it most. The National Mobile Market Coalition, composed of over 70 programs across the country, said that to just break even, they would have to double their current prices. Who here would be unable to afford your current groceries if the prices doubled? Thank you. I would have to say me too. We know that the city's contract with Thomas Creek has the potential for up to 4.5 total years of partnership. However, we have been told by several council members to wait and see how it performs. Those living every day with food insecurity can't afford to wait and see. We have done our research with mobile markets across the country, so we don't have to wait and see. A singular mobile market program has the potential to feed up to 10,000 people per year. 10,000 people. However, that is only possible when the market is operating at maximum capacity. When we researched national trends, the lowest number of sites we found to be viable was 9. Our mobile market currently has 3, but we have heard from Thomas Creek, the Food Policy Committee, and council members that they want to add more sites and operate 5 days a week. So we know we share the same goal. We know mobile markets have successfully addressed food insecurity when they are funded and supported in other locations. Let's make sure the 65,000 people have access to a mobile market as soon as possible.
Will our city council members please come and join us on stage? As they join us, we have invited council members Tina Herbert, Tyler Bailey, and Will Brennan to come tonight because they serve on the Community Development Committee on Council, where the mobile market and food insecurity planning has been under their purview. We will begin with our first question, and this is addressed to all council members. Will you accept our deep felt appreciation for all your work to address food insecurity by establishing the 3 new programs in Columbia? Councilwoman Herbert, will you accept?
And what am I accepting?
Our appreciation. Absolutely.
accept?
Yes.
And that's Councilman Brennan, will you accept our appreciation?
Yes.
And that's
Thank you all. Councilmember Brennan, will you please step forward? We have heard from council members that this mobile market is only happening because of the pandemic relief funds. We don't know where food insecurity would be without COVID-19 highlighting how big this issue is. And we don't want to forget about it before it's addressed. So we ask you tonight, on behalf of our 25 congregations, 400 network members, the hundreds more here tonight, and the thousands more in our congregations, will you be a champion for food insecurity and work with council to secure and allocate $20,000 per month for both the mobile market and other food security programming for the next 3 years, starting in 2025?
Well, let me go ahead and get this out of the way, yes. All right. Well, thank you, because, well, let me say thank you to this wonderful committee and the wonderful informative Zoom meeting that I had last week, and for the invitation to be here in front of so many passionate community members, not just from the city of Columbia now. There's some Richland counties, other municipalities, but it's that collaboration that we're talking about. You are in every neighborhood, and we are so happy for that. People of more justice, people of faith, you all know it takes 4 votes to get things done in the city of Columbia. So we're going to work hard. This city council looks at issues. We're in the business of providing the best quality of life for our citizens. And that's what we're going to keep doing. We're going to get creative and innovative. We're going to leverage federal grants, state grants, county grants to get the best of what we can for the services, for the quality of life of our citizens. So again, thank you. I see my Shannon Presbyterian friends here giving me a hard stare, so I appreciate it. I'll tell my mom I showed up and did good on this discussion.
Thank you, Councilman Wilson. All right, you're not done yet. Question number 2. Councilman Brennan, will you encourage and work with Tom's Creek Family Farms to add 6 more locations to the schedule?
Yes. And it's not just the city that's going to work with them, it's the 25 congregations here that they're going to work with them as well. It's the school districts, the Parks and Rec facility. We have a lot of locations that we can grow to, but we have got to all work together. Get out into the communities, get out into the neighborhoods. We have to make this successful, and we need y'all's help on that.
So that's a yes?
Yes.
Councilmember Bailey, will you please step forward? Will you be a champion for food insecurity and work with council to secure and allocate $20,000 per month for both the mobile market and other food programming for the next 3 years, starting in 2025?
I believe Scripture says, "Let your yea be yea, your nay be nay," correct?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes. Pretty simple. Well, when I first ran in 2021, I highlighted just the closure of grocery stores. Right where my church is on Broadway Road, you had the new Walmart that opened and closed before anybody could really go there. Maybe if you look at it down the street, Isla from here closed down. So many grocery stores were closing. The pandemic really exacerbated things. Just like highlighted the research of 65,000 residents are hungry. So on city council, I think we all should be champions for food justice to make sure that the 29203 zip code isn't one of the highest diabetic amputee zip codes for all southern states. That's a problem I think that we can all get behind and work to fix. So simply my answer is yes.
Thank you. See, this isn't hard, is it? And my question, Councilman
Bailey, for whom I voted because you have food insecurity on that card that was in my mailbox. Will you encourage and work with Tom Creek Family Farms to add 6 more locations to the mobile market schedule?
Yes, I will.
Councilmember Herbert, will you please step forward? Will you be a champion for food insecurity and work with City Council to secure and allocate $20,000 per month for both the mobile market and other food programming for the next 3 years, beginning in 2025?
Can you, I am going to say yes, I will be a champion, but as we have already discussed, I cannot commit to the other issues, and whenever it's appropriate, I can explain.
Okay, so you now have an opportunity to explain the other issues. If you would start with this one.
So probably the bigger thing is the food mobile market is my project. I have been working on it since 2016, and I kind of know what the vision was for it, including with the Food Policy Council. One of the things that we wanted it to be is a business. This is an opportunity for a small business to be able to generate revenues. And so the other part of it is we put an RFP out, and the budget that we funded is the budget that they asked for. Okay. They did their research. Tom's Creek, they run a farm, they run a grocery store, and so they said, this is what we need to operate, and that is what we gave them. So, in talking to Larry today, they don't have a request for additional funds. So that's one reason. I think the other part, and y'all know me, I just have to give my truth. Whatever, my truth is my truth. As I discussed with Larry, I don't know the next part of this issue really is going to be money related. Because simply because you bring the healthy food doesn't mean that you change the attitudes to help people eat the food. And what research has also shown is when you put healthy grocery stores and healthy options, it hasn't necessarily indirectly changed the health outcomes. So I just think that there are different issues, and to allocate blanketly 20,000, I'm a little too animated.
Well, first of all, I did want to address the statement about it being a self-sufficient business. When people are hungry, that is a very basic need, and that need is met through food.
Oh, so I have been on food stamps, so I understand. I have been that, or.
And so what I would like to say is to address food insecurity from the position of that it needs to be a successful business may not be the best perspective on it. Because if that was really a successful business, I believe we would have more grocery stores in the 29203 zip code that would be successful. And what we've seen, as your fellow councilman talked about, is grocery stores closing. So that is clearly an example of not being successful.
Do I get to respond? Because I do agree with you that is why it's difficult to say how much we will give it, because we don't know what those numbers are, and what we have said is that we're going to monitor it over the next 6 months to see. But again, I do think one of the hurdles that we really have to think about is how do we get folks to change what they're eating so that they partake in the foods and change the health outcomes. Because I think ultimately that's what people want to see, the change in health outcomes.
And I would agree with you that we do need to change people's perspective. And that's why the question said that the $20,000 per month would go towards both the mobile market and other food programs, such as sharing recipes with folks doing cooking demonstrations. And so then I would ask you, would you work with the City of Columbia to secure and allocate that $20,000 in funding?
I can commit to looking at strategies that have been effective to help change folks' mentalities to eat healthy like me, and then develop a budget from that, and then advocate for the funds.
Okay. So when we talk about strategies, I would like to ask you what sort of time frame are we talking about in order to be able to evaluate?
Well, what we've already discussed is we're going to do 6 months to see, because I could possibly be wrong. You know, the people can come in and it can be booming and we don't have to even go through that training or teaching. I just don't know. And so because we don't have the data and we don't know how people are going to respond, it's just really hard to commit to something that far out.
As you heard earlier, Thomas Creek, well, I don't know if we said this, but they just started March 4th. And so now they have 10 months to basically run their program. And if we wait 6 months, then that will mean we will only have 4 more months to possibly address what could be a gap in funding. And so what I would like to ask you is, would you consider moving that timeline up and having a meeting in June to evaluate their quarterly report?
Not to make that decision. We believe that 6 months is the right amount of time and there won't be a gap in funding if they determine that we need to do it.
So you believe that if we wait to the end of the year,
6 months.
6 months, well, the end of the year is when Thomas Creek's contract runs out.
We said, I don't know that's a staff question, the exact time range, but what we said is 6 months is when we will reevaluate. And I believe you said that would be 4 months before the contract is up. And so 4 months is plenty of time to, if that decision, if it's necessary to give it more funds, that's plenty of time to make that happen in 4 months.
Well, I will reiterate, it took 5 years for us just to get to this point.
I know, because I'm the one that's been trying to get it. I mean, like, I am the person that made sure we got it this time. So I'm just saying.
So you understand the time frame that we're talking about, but you believe that we can do this in 4 months if we get to that point?
Yes, I do.
It's a compromise that we don't want to make, but we will. So you will agree to meet with us, More Justice, in 6 months to evaluate the deliverables from Thomas Creek?
Well, we're going to meet with Tom's Creek to evaluate the deliverables and let them let us know what they need. We don't mind sharing that information with you, but you all can talk to Larry. He's pretty easy to talk to. We share information on top.
So this is a program that's funded through the city, am I correct?
Yes.
And so if it's funded through the city, they have some deliverables that the city has required of them.
I would have to contract, and I intentionally stayed out of the weeds of the contracts. I didn't want anyone to say Tina chose and Tina did. So I let staff do the increments. But the vision is that it will be, because it's not a nonprofit, so the vision is that they should be, or really want them to be, a for-profit business that is profitable. Just like when the grocery stores come, we're going to want them to be profitable because that's the only way they're going to stay.
Tina, excuse me, Councilmember Curley.
Tina's fine.
With all due respect, it is disappointing that you don't agree with us in terms of how important and needed this is.
That's okay. That is not correct. I mean, that's not correct. I just don't believe in the methodology or the way to get to that. But to say I don't care or that it's important is the project that I made sure happened. So I don't think that's a fair characterization.
Okay. Well, I apologize if I offended you.
Can't hear.
Sorry. I apologize to her that if I offended her. But it seems that there is a disconnect between what we're asking for and between what you're saying that you as a councilman can offer. But I would like to say, will you continue to be a champion for food insecurity as through your work with the city council?
Oh, absolutely. I'm the main one.
Thank you, and thank you for your support. And we look forward to getting with Tom Creek's farms and seeing the results after the first 6 months.
I'm optimistic.
Yes, yes, and we're excited. So my question is easy.
Well, I just thought about something. One thing we all need to understand too is that if it is profitable, then it gets more support. If it is something that we have to support forever, then we don't get the same, because it's taxpayer money. You all understand what I'm saying? Like, people want to see a business that is sustainable, not necessarily a project that we will have to fund for 10 or 20 years. That kind of understands that.
Councilwoman Herbert, you're fine. Will you encourage and work with Tom Creek Family Farms to add 6 more locations to the loan market schedule?
If that's what they need, then yes. I think we're going to have to check different sites to see where it works the best. I think that's what this 6 months is about too.
So expanding the sites, that is something that you're in favor of?
I'm in favor of finding the right sites where folks will come out and use it. If we're going to a site and no one is coming, then I couldn't support that. But if there are people who are there who intend to use the services, absolutely. But to create a site and there's no usage here, I couldn't necessarily. I don't think anyone would support that.
I don't want that either. Right.
But where there is a need and people are actively participating, I'm all for that.
Okay, so I'm going to take that as yes, you are going to work with the farm. To expand this program.
Yes, I think it's a part of the process of making sure it's the most effective, the most profitable, and the most successful. We have to go through that process.
Right, and we've got 11 churches in this city, so surely with all of us, we can help make that happen.
Absolutely, we're going to watch out for some fun marketing that we're about to start.
Okay, thank you. Very quickly, a recap. First of all, we're thanking our council members for being here tonight. We're thanking Councilman Brennan for his yes for being a champion for food insecurity and helping to secure funding. Councilman Bailey also to be a champion for food insecurity and helping to secure more funding. For Councilwoman Herbert for being the champion for the food insecurity program and for being willing to work with the farm to help us find some more locations. And your appreciation. Oh, I'm sorry, you may go to your seats, and thank you for being here.
Good evening.
Good evening.
That was tough, wasn't it? What is our call? Housing for all. What is our call? Housing for all. What is our call? Housing for all. Amen. Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Robin Campbell. I'm a member of the Affordable Housing Steering Committee. Today I'm joined with my fellow committee members, Susan Knight, Reverend James Woodley, Jim Zeke, and Sister Linda McDonald. Well, we are here to celebrate, you guys. We forgot our party hats, but we are here to celebrate. So we have exciting news to share, and we'll go ahead and get to it. So before we get into the celebration, I want you guys to remember why we're here tonight. In Richland County, to afford a 2-bedroom apartment last year, 2023,
you need to earn $21.63 per hour. That means if you're making minimum wage, you have to work 3 full-time jobs just to pay for rent. That's not talking about food, medicine, car, family emergencies. In fact, over 16,000 households in our community have to decide whether they're going to pay rent or somehow stretching the remaining dollars to buy groceries, medicine, gas, and clothes. Say that number one more time. 16,000. The lack of affordable rental housing forces many to live in areas far from where they work, take on multiple roommates, or simply choose not to live and work here. So when we talk about affordable housing, we mean housing that doesn't eat up more than 30% of what people earn, especially those with lower incomes. And let's remind ourselves of who this really affects. Please stand and remain standing. If you or your loved one has been in one of the following occupations: servers, cashiers, home health aides, custodians, retail workers, nurses assistants, office clerks, customer service representatives, construction workers, teachers, law enforcement, landscaping, and groundskeeping workers. Look around. All of these jobs represent the people we are talking about today. All of these jobs represent those who struggle most to find an affordable house to lay their head in 2024. You may have a seat. Imagine how many people will be standing in solidarity across the city if we could see to that meeting. We are not just speaking on behalf of our communities, we are speaking on behalf of ourselves tonight. Thank you all.
Over the last 6 years, we have been working as part of More Justice and have done research and brought forward a proposal for a flexible, proven solution for creating affordable housing that has worked throughout the country. It is called an Affordable Housing Trust Fund. A housing trust fund is a dedicated source of funding for producing and preserving affordable housing. For example, Greenville, South Carolina established a trust fund in 2018. Through their trust fund, they leveraged an investment of $7 million to bring over $2 million into the community. $200 million, excuse me. So $7 million led them to have $200 million in Greenville County. That was 2018. This allowed Greenville to create and preserve over 900 affordable apartments and homes, with another 1,000 coming in the next few years. Imagine that kind of impact in our city, here in Columbia, if we had an affordable housing trust fund. Unfortunately, affordable housing has had a bad reputation historically. But affordable housing is no longer what it once was. Affordable housing in 2024, the way we want it, is intentionally designed, built to high standards, and often mixed income, not just more segregated housing. developments is how it's financed and who lives there. So the question is, how will the money in the trust fund be spent? First, the county would partner with a nonprofit organization to establish and run the trust fund. Then money would be allocated to the trust fund to be made available for the development of affordable housing. These funds would have specific rules and guidelines set by the county to ensure that the money is protected and used only to build affordable housing.
Since the last Nehemiah action, we have made significant progress towards our goal. County Councilman Livingston, we're going to ask him to come up, prepare himself to come up, has been an instrumental part of that. Let's give him a hand as he comes. First, he let us know that when something is on council's strategic plan for 2024, it is a top priority for the council. So, one of our short-term goals was to make sure that affordable housing was on that list. After months of meetings in January, council added affordable housing to their strategic planning agenda. And as a result, an ad hoc committee has been formed that will support affordable housing. Having a dedicated group working towards addressing affordable housing in the county will make a huge difference. Right now, More Justice is dedicated to getting the $4 million council set aside in 2023 allocated to an affordable housing trust fund. And we want to expand by securing reoccurring funding to get houses built for our neighbors. There are other exciting things happening and progress being made, and we have invited Councilman Livingston here tonight to speak about these successes from his perspective. And so we're going to hear from Councilman Livingston now. Let's give him a hand.
And good evening. Good evening. And I'm certainly honored to be with you again. And please allow me to start by just simply thanking you. When I say you, I'm talking about More Justice, for your exceptional, extraordinary efforts and commitment to the lives of the citizens in our community, the quality of the lives of the citizens in our community, and for the information and the guidance you have provided for me and my county council colleagues, particularly as it relates to affordable housing. Now, you know, over the years, the Rowan County government has changed rather significantly. And well, you know, I know that. I've served for some 30 years. I see some of us trying to count. I remember I started with a little boy. Just in case. Now, county government, you know, when prior to my becoming governor, county government has a couple of basic functions. I mean, it was just simply law enforcement, roads, trash, collection, collecting taxes. Those are the basic functions of county government. That's all, you know, the state legislatures asked us to do. Now, over the years, that has changed, and I can tell you, during my tenure, there's some things that just simply were not even considered early in the early part of my tenure. I was working with colleagues who would say to me in arguing that housing is simply not a kind of government function. Food insecurity is not a kind of government function. Mental health, the arts, drug abuse, all those things weren't even considered among most of the colleagues I served with at that time in kind of government function. But I can tell you during my tenure, we've seen a lot of changes there. You know, for example, we were not a direct recipient of CDBG funds for housing. We made that happen. We didn't have any home funds, things like hospitality tax, accommodation taxes, they help us, grants. All those things did not exist at that particular time. So I'm saying that to say, don't assume we haven't come a long way. We met some challenges. But let's talk about it now. And some of this is mentioned already. I can tell you now, my current colleagues is committed to affordable housing. We committed in our last budget some $4 million dedicated solely to affordable housing. We made a high priority, as mentioned earlier, that relates to our county council strategic plan. So we're certainly moving forward with that. We also developed the Richland County Affordable Housing Ad Hoc Committee. As a matter of fact, that committee is scheduled to meet tomorrow. It will hold its initial meeting on tomorrow. So we're looking forward to what happens there. And what we hope to come out of that is great ideas about future funding. We hope to come up with great ideas about partnerships and collaborations with more justice and others. And we look forward to a great deal more of collaboration with other entities. We look forward to developing different opportunities for grants. And more importantly, an opportunity to communicate more effectively with others in our community. So we're looking forward to that great initiative. We think it's going to have a significant impact as it relates to affordable housing. And another big initiative, in particular, of mine as a county councilman, I think, building houses for people is a great idea. But we're also committing building people for houses. Let me tell you what that means. That means great economic development. When you get companies that we've back in the last few years, like Skybones and others, what you're doing is building people for houses. And so that's part of the equation too, is if one can afford a house and have the income to do so, then they have a house. So that's really important to us too, is to look at it from that particular angle too, and we continue to do that. And that's why another big initiative of ours is workforce development. Get people prepared for those jobs they can afford a house. So I'll say to you, on behalf of my colleagues, and I apologize on behalf of my colleagues, unfortunately we have a county council legislative session this evening, and that's where my colleagues are now, and I left that meeting to come here with you all and inform them of my being here and on their behalf. So again, I just want to think it's important for you to know that, when I've been here, headed out there for that particular event. So let me just quickly close with one quote from Matthew Desmond. He was at one point homeless, evicted. Because I agree with him. And he says, it is hard to argue that housing is not a fundamental human right. And decent, affordable housing should be a basic right for everyone in this county. The reason is simple. Without stable shelter, everything else falls apart. Thank you very much.
Look how far we've come. We didn't always think we were going to win. And while we have more to do, today is a day of hope and celebration. And what I'd like for you to do now is to stand and show your appreciation to the praise is well deserved, but I knew you needed to stand up. We appreciate Councilman Livingston and our partnership we share with him, partnership that we share with Richland City Council, Richland County Council, and the partnerships we share with all those that are here and dedicated to create and build affordable housing. Midlands Housing Trust Fund is one of those organizations, and they're represented here tonight. We need to thank them also. affordable housing in the Midlands. Soon, and very soon, all of God's children will have a safe and affordable place to live. And that means a lot to Richland County. We look forward to everything that we've done and everything we will do together. But right now, what I'd like to do is have Councilman Livingston step forward. Councilman, take my hand, take my other hand, and he's going to help with this in our call. What's our call? Housing for all. What's our call? Housing for all. What's our call? Housing for all. Thank you.
Hello, coming to the end. My name is Marion Fine. I'm a team leader at St. John Roman Catholic Church and a member of the More Justice Executive Board.
Father Sandy McDonald, the pastor, St. John Newman Catholic Church.
I am proud to be among you tonight, working to address the serious problems facing our community. We are a powerful voice for justice here together. As we close tonight, it's important that we are clear on the commitments made this evening and that we all know our next steps after tonight, as Nehemiah Action is only one step in our year as we are consistently striving for justice.
Whenever officials come to the Nehemiah Action, whether they commit to what we ask or not, we appreciate their dedication to democracy in action and having these important conversations in public. Let's once again recognize all the public officials who prioritized being here tonight. However, we are disappointed that some of our local officials chose not to prioritize their attendance here tonight. All officials in Columbia, Richland County, Lexington County, and West Columbia received a mailed and emailed invitation to the Nehemiah Action in the fall. Officials also received a reminder 1 month prior to this evening with details of the location. The correspondence that we sent is detailed on your agenda packet on page 4.
We are disappointed that Mr. Fordham was not here tonight to speak to this amazing group of citizens gathered. But we will not let this set back our work. And if you would like to learn more about the Gun Violence Summit that we will be hosting, you can sign up for our mailing list on the screen or by emailing morejusticeColumbia@gmail.com.
In regard to the commitments we received tonight for food justice, City Council members Brennan and Bailey said yes to work to secure and allocate $20,000 in funding for the mobile market and other food security programs for the next 3 years starting in 2025. And Councilwoman Herbert said yes to continue to be a champion for food security, but without making any specific commitments. All 3 of these councilpersons will encourage our mobile market to add 6 more locations. Tonight does not mark the end of our work to help our 65,000 neighbors, but it's a huge first step, and we will continue alongside our council members to keep progress rolling. In the meantime, please go and shop at our brand new mobile market. The current schedule is on page 8 of your agendas, and you can find them on Facebook for any updates. To join our mailing list for food, you can scan the QR code on the screen or email us.
Because of us and Richland County Councilmember Paul Livingston, affordable housing is on the county's strategic plan, and they have created a dedicated ad hoc committee that will work to address housing. Let's give that an applause. And we are excited to continue our work with this committee to ensure that housing is built for those who need it most. If you want to know what is happening next for this committee, please sign up for the housing mailing list at the QR code or on screen email.
We still have a lot of work to do to truly seek justice in our community. We will follow up with our public officials to ensure these commitments are fulfilled, and we will continue to work together as a holy community and coalition of the faithful to see God's kingdom here in the Midlands. We cannot give up or grow weary, nor can we take our wins tonight as a sign to slow down or let up. We must continue to persist so that justice flows like a mighty river in our community and in our world.
If you would like to be part of this persistence, don't let tonight be the last time we see you till next year. Our celebration is on Monday, May 20th at 6 p.m. The location of this event is to be announced, so sign up for our newsletter to get the latest information. We also invite you to invest in this work tonight. What we have just done, uniting hundreds of people on the issues of justice and partnering with elected officials to see change become a reality, it is truly remarkable. But remarkable doesn't just happen, and neither does true justice in the Midlands. It takes consistent organizing, accountability, and research. I am proud to invest in those things every year, and I hope you will join me. Each year, our members are asked to prayerfully consider investing a meaningful amount to them. So if our members or our guests are ready to turn in all or part of your investment tonight, we welcome you to do so. If you would like to pledge an amount to be turned in later, please fill out a green pledge card. Look in your package to invest online, text to give, or you can bring the pledge cards, cash or checks to the investment table in the lobby, easily found by the balloons.
We know that relationships across the community, not just our network, are highly important. I am proud to invest as a network member, and a few of our members also invest with their businesses as a corporate partner. We would like to thank our members at Leading Up LLC and Leaders Imago for being corporate partners as well as individual investors. If you're a business owner here tonight, we'd love to chat with you about deepening that partnership. If you know of a business that mirrors the values of more justice, we want to know who they are. On the last page of your packet, under the investment section, you can let us know and drop it off also at the investment table on the way out. And thank you to our foundation partners who are investing in justice for our community: the Ben & Jerry's Foundation, Central Carolina Community Foundation, Southern Partners Fund, the Episcopal Church, Evangelical Lutheran Church in America, Presbyterian Hunger Program, and Sisters of Charity Foundation of South Carolina. Let's give them a hand. Let's also give a hand to Oakdale High School for their hospitality. And finally, thank you to all our volunteers who made tonight possible. You ready? What do we want? When do we want it? Now. What do we want? When do we want it? Now. What do we want? When do we want it? Now.
Let us give another round of applause. For the work that we all have accomplished and what you have witnessed here when community comes together. I am Dr. Ivory Thigpen, Reverend Ivory Thigpen, pastor of Rehoboth Baptist Church, and it is my honor to give our closing charge. We have heard the cry of the unknown. We have experienced the apathy of the unconcerned. Yet, and still, we have been charged to do the work and accomplish the unimaginable, even for the ungrateful. We cannot afford to leave this work undone. We cannot afford to leave this work unfinished. Therefore, I charge each and every one of us to imagine the impossible. I charge each and every one of us to do the impossible. For we must have the collective will to become the change that we desire to see. Are you willing? Yes. As stated by Mother Teresa, we, the willing, who are led by the unknown, are doing the impossible for the ungrateful. We've done so much with so little. We are now qualified to do anything with nothing. Are you willing? Are you willing? What do we want? More justice. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? More justice. When do we want it? Now. Right now. Let us look to the Lord, our God, in prayer. O Ancient of Days, it is now that we come to your throne of grace and mercy, looking to you and you alone as the author and the finisher of our faith. It is you, O God, that we call upon, and we ask that you help all those who hunger for righteousness. Help all those who suffer from injustices in this land or any land. For I have heard it said and found it true, God, that an injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Not only help, God, heal those who have been abused and oppressed and mistreated. Heal those individuals who wonder and worry where their next meal might come from, or what violence might overtake them, who have suffered violence themselves. Heal their hearts, heal their minds, heal this land, O God. But not only help and heal, God, honor. Honor this work that we have committed ourselves to. Honor it by your presence as we invite and invoke you in the work that we do. For without you, we are nothing. But with you, we are more than conquerors. So simply said, O Ancient of Days, God of yesterday, today, and tomorrow, we desire you not only to smile upon us, but go before us, come behind us, where mercy and peace do meet. Let them win the day, that righteousness and justice will have its day. Lord, we honor you and glorify you, God, in this effort, for it is for your glory and for your people's gain. Let all those who love God, let all those who serve God, let all those who believe in God say it